First of all, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Cafe Gallery. Hello, hello. It's great to see everybody here. It's crazy because last week we had a bonus feature, and of course, that was the week that also happened to have a presidential debate. So it was like, what kind of turnout are we having this happy-go-lucky month? But I'm like crazy for this month. We've got a phenomenal feature this evening, please, for Elizabeth Jacobson. Give it up for you. That's just my starting one. Yes, the first thing I'm going to say, actually, which I might have to actually throw this toward my sidekick first. I've got this handy-dandy bag, and although you might not believe in drinking Crown Royal, this happens to be the purple bag of goodness.
I'll actually come up and get it.
Because you got to put your life savings into it. How much do I'll get more in there later. Here you go, my angel. Thank you, darling. Pass it around because this woman deserves so much for this phenomenal feature. The wonderful thing about this feature is also, if a lot of people can't make it from out of town or whatever, I've heard people say, hey, I'm really glad you happen to have it as a podcast or you put it up as a YouTube clip, because then I may want to see it. I'm from Florida and I didn't get to see what was going on. So if you go to chaoticarts.org/thecafe, you can find information for getting iTunes podcast links or get it from podcasts anywhere else. You can get a downloadable MP3, no, MP4 file for you to have the video for it. I've got this book that this one happens to have just released because Elizabeth was here last year when she was at the cafe it was the tumultuous time for this open mic when I was at the cafe on a Sunday before it got to be able to go over here. But I'm like rattle. But the thing is, what did I just hear about? I didn't even get a chance to go through this, but this looks awesome, cool. But I believe this is a finalist in competitions for an Arizona, New Mexico awards program. I don't know the details. Hopefully this woman will say, because her rating is so worth it. Please, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Elizabeth Jacobson.
It's a finalist for the Arizona and New Mexico Book Award, and the award will be announced in November, the winners. Anyway, thank you all for coming. God, hundreds of you here tonight. It's amazing. I haven't ever read for such a large audience before. I'm a little nervous.
He actually turned around.
This book was just released from Trace Cheapest Books in New Mexico. And I brought some copies for sale. I wanted to offer them to everybody in the audience tonight at a discount, so that would make them $10 a copy and not $14. So all of you people out there, jump on it. Okay, so I'm going to read for about 15 minutes. I'm going to read from the third section of Her Knees Pulled In, and then I'm going to read a couple of new poems. Is there any way to turn the lights down a little bit, or we have to have it like this?
I'll ask.
I didn't buy anything off you last year, did I, Elizabeth?
What?
Did you bring a book last year? I don't remember.
You know what? I read from the manuscript of this book.
Okay. I wanted to make sure I didn't have it. I have so many chapbooks and poetry.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't
Sometimes
have it. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
Okay, so.
You tell us about lights. Is that okay?
Yeah, oh, that's so much better because it was like right in my eyes, but I'll trip on this.
Thank you.
Don't let me trip on it, okay? All right. So this is from the third section of the book, and it's called Coil. And there are many short sections, so between each section I'll pause. Tight. Her knees pulled to her chest. Infinite soul. Her mind takes up the big dirt answer of snakes, the color orange, the part of her that fits the part of him. They've seen whole pumpkins frozen on vines, like bodies with no limbs. Days go on, might not. The line cast is slim as grass. After morning tea, her room orange with hope, a handful of almonds in a cup. Air waxes spring with its wind. It's 60 degrees in the half shade. The dog digs under the night-frozen rabbit, the night-frozen body of a small jackrabbit. ears in a stiff V, all this from the chair by the window, answers of sprouting blue flax, the soon-to-be pink columbine, thousands of mice mothers never seen in the space of one desert yard. This is tenuous, at peace with renew. Windows of days open from the top, dust coils in the light, tea leaves, stems of collards, what is happy all the time. The sun again, too hot sun of nothing growing up from the earth, like a mined mountain, will leave in its dust the shells of insects, a parched, tailless lizard. She finds black bat hanging by its nails from the stucco of the house, an owl hole gorged in its back. No place can fill her, the sun having dried every pore tight. No moisture curls her hair, comes out of her head like copper, won't let her sleep. Even her fingernails can't scratch in. A lyre snake, its back of petroglyphs designed to cloak his detective life of eating things still alive. His prey under light black fingernail sliver of new moon sky quivers in his body the way a body of a man quivers in hers under the same fingernail sliver of sky. Clouds they can't see at night above the canyon, a harp at the top of a venomous head. She receives sound. The day scissors the orange out of everything. This wind, sirocco of heat, her knees, two mountains spilling out topography. The something molten, volcanic cloud of ash pouring from her red. It takes many hearts to clear the sky. Bird sight, swill barely stick deep. Hundreds of brown-billed ducks eating from its pudding mud. This mountain lost a breast, grows it back. Thin roots of newborn cedar spread down to water the hair-like seeds of wild grass. Blue grama, buffalo, move across the field on the backs of ants. She chooses to walk, cutting the stalks of chocolate flowers between the slice motion of her two sharp fingernails, everything emptying out in the too hot noonday heat of her desert mind before she can hold it in her not blue eyes. Western patch-nosed snake, seeking heat, head moving sideways against the glass jars and plastic containers of the recycle bin, where it has gone to hide from her need to feel its glossy smell against the curve of her palm, pokes its bumped nose over her stretching in, and gets away across her sandy foot into the roots of cedar. Now the dog involved chews it dead while she sits on brick. One to each shoulder, above each breast, her knees pulled in, her spine curved, the rocking part of a rocking chair, his sex sitting on top of hers, two people out of their peopleness. The dog of their joining takes little bites from the space that is quiet. Common desert snakes, nocturnal habits of the lizard-eating, frog foot sticking out of lipless mouth, bump of deer mouth giving birth on its way down the rippling cartilage chamber of someone else's life. The way her life is tunnel-like, dark-tipped, end pointing toward the grassy knoll of a water-fed lawn. Soil, packed, not dead, some people eat it, passel of life, start of it, deep in the soil body, all the fertile words, particles of speech, where she started, not from, but how quickly she moves into another part of the question whole. The storm moves in, a woman with something to say, gray teeth from too much mineral in her childhood water, desperate tangled hair. She takes the soil first, wraps it around her wrist, slips pinion cone on her fingers, arranges herself with a long, deep breath, then opens her knees wide to the eager desert growth as it tunnels up her see-through nightgown, into the very wet place behind her eyes, where every season waits, clouds pushed aside, for a clear progression into the remains. Her eyes turn pink, red sandy soil floor, an ocean that has no water, aramay turned Apache plume, the eel of juniper root, coral reef of salmon rock, expanding with the tide of circling hawks. There once was an ocean here, the way there once will be her life. Knees pulled in on the daisy print couch, she rests in the view, coiled in her water smell. Dust heaps small hills on her windowsill. She hasn't seen them yet, but she knows she has. Thin string of a bean vine, so hardy you can't believe it, unless of course it was part of your memory. Once common in some places, tepary beans, like yucca or choya, like anything random that turns into anything else. Beans on the vine into food, then seeds, then flowers, flowers pale pink on the vine like pea vine flowers. During the time she collects them, she stretches her shoulders, her stomach, she reaches up, her body, many descendants of water. Mostly dry and ungrowing, a chronicle of grass during drought, not like hair, but like hair, chin of the earth turned up, small mound of place, the earth's recoil. Sometimes it's almost too clear the way to keep going. Moisture loves a good party. Rock rattlesnake, heating in the sun, umbilic coil, exactly what's expected until seen, a vowel out of place, O-shaped mouth when you was imagined. Under rocks from prehistoric slides, the pressure of one Tyrannosaurus after another. This snake is polite and sounds the alarm. Can feel the noise of arms, how legs sound, crossed and then uncrossing. A human body on an orange rock, above woken reptile sleep. Filmy eye breathing, babies inside, wrapped in eggs like babies. Common barking of the dog, noise of the rattlesnake, venomous striking, diamondback coil, the only things not moving, summer still air, the hair on the back of the dog's tail. Migraine landscape of native grass, deadlock heat, two creatures wanting something from each other, worsening communication. The dog wants his lawn, the snake a place to cross, the beige of common desert needs. There will be no rain, no release of pressure. Almost romantic, this twin-spotted rattlesnake, with rows of couples down its back, a wedding procession in perilous places, her knees pulled in, the ladder back chair, a reminder of ribs, her body not moving like a snake, the slow life growth of dry days. Each body part remembers the wet smell of green. This snake will slither away from her under the porch evening mood. East of the sunset, there isn't a name for this kind of pink. Impales prey, mice, insect, baby rabbits, on barbed wire, cactus thorns, tree branches, a mouse impaled on a cactus thorn, hot dying New Mexican heat like torch vapor, so hot the skin shrivels before the heart stops. She sees a dried mouse, dried peach-body mouse, impaled on a choya, and she picks it off. Overhead, a loggerhead shriek, leaving danger on an empty stomach. Cocopelli humpback, like other things humpback, old women, camels, whales, the flute player, a bag of magic songs in his hump. Cocopelli plays his flute, figure of desire and want, mating calls spirit. She can not deny the presence under scratchy branch shade of juniper, or the hot expanse of red rock, under red dust, red of red, colored between the notes, between her legs. She builds muscle in her lower body. Her feet pulled in, soft soles touching, pads of each other, hands pressing down opposite knees, sex open to the air, her own heels pulling desire up from the ground into her orange center, the top of her opens with a cry. So for those of you that just joined us, that was the third section of my book Bernice pulled in, and I'm from New Mexico. I failed to mention that before I started reading. So anyway, all those poems took place in New Mexico, as these two do, but I don't think this meant, well, maybe. I'm going to read two new poems, and then I will move on. The first one is called Lift the Skin Off of Me. Even on the coldest days, there is birdsong. Your wool cap pulled over your forehead sweetens your eyes. At the top of the peak, I ask again, if you see the way the ocean once filled these valleys and covered these mountains. Don't you smell the briny mineral wash in the air? Someone has left a lawn chair at the top of this peak. You brush off the light covering of snow and pull me down with you. As you fall right through the cracked mesh, I follow with a thud. How is it that I think now of the giant whooping crane on the county highway? Her mate had been hit and was stretched out dead at the center of the road. She stood by him, wings open and flapping, shrewd voice anxious, screaming, her dark red crown bowing in her descent through the rim of despair. With each oncoming car, she took a short running flight to get out of the way, pacing the side of the road until she could return to him. The next day, when she was still there, exhausted, wings tattered and brown, we scraped what was left of her lover off the asphalt with the snow shovel and rested the body on the low, dried grass by the embankment. The birds had come that summer to our swill that had filled with rain from the monsoon. Standing there, a self beside herself, like a person saying to us, how is it that you are so small, that we are so small? How is it that our moments seem so big? The last one I'll read is called Great Unconformity. Summer is crawling out of my box like a centipede. There is the heavy press of grief. I saddle this anguish on its long armored back and watch it creep off on tiptoe. Life doesn't fold over itself like paper or into the outstretched arms of a lover. Sometimes an opening closes us back in again. Utterly unable to be mistaken for anything else, this high-altitude mountain air reaches in for blood and guts, pulls the dead cells out inch by inch, a string of black pearls coiled in a nervous, glistening mound. We live and we die all day long, so if death is in the living, then maybe living is in the death. I am the one who falls into the narrow river while crossing over on a fallen tree. When I woke this morning, I felt awake in my breath, and this was all. Being empty in the sense of being alone is vast. Nature grows mountains and then washes them away with only a gap to show that something was there. My greatest fortune has been with love. Why then is this heart so tight, wrapped like rock around rock, setting into rock, endlessly under the weight of may there be ease? The beginning of something is often tender, an early autumn morning in which the air is warming, rich with the scent of ripening apples. Many are resting on the ground, half-eaten, rotting. If the apple is softening, how will I live? Inside the egg of our humanity is a gentle day resting in its shell. To know that something was there because we know it is missing is the same as knowing something is coming because it isn't there.
No, you're going to stay right up here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I don't think that was loud enough.
Oh.
Please give it up one more time for Elizabeth Jacobson.
And if anybody wants to buy a book, I have them for $10.
I've got one and it's awesome.
Discounted price, one night only.
Yeah, I can see that on the barcode. That's so worth it. I'm like looking, I'm like, yep, that's a discount price. You've got it. That's awesome. And thank you very much. That is what I absolutely love about this space is that we get a variety of performers doing a variety of things, and I don't often get people, oh, I'm going to be about to win a book. And by the way, you can buy it for dirt cheap. On sale right now. But I want to say some things really quickly about upcoming features before we take like a 3-minute break before our open mic, because we're turning that all around for the Cafe Gallery here tonight. I want to let everybody know that in 2 weeks after this one, we happen to have Dave Ketchuk on October 10th. Wait, no, that's looking at the right date. October 24th, that's today. What am I doing? 2 weeks from now, on October 24th, is actually Dave Ketchuk as the feature, which is awesome, cool. And then, of course, in November, and in fact, one of our open micers, Patrick Early, is actually, what am I going to be featuring? It's actually on November 7th, it's going to be the Patrick Early feature. After that, the day before Thanksgiving, well, I'm going to be here reading stuff, so if anybody wants to come over and read stuff and hear stuff all about the periodic table of poetry, come on by. And if you want to know anything about the future features, go to www.catecast.org/thecafe, and there is a call for 2013 features that is up right now, which Bob Rashko, Hades' D&D sidekick, I don't believe you've taken your date yet. Yay! So you should so do that, and so should everybody else. Yeah, pick your date, because it's available online. You can always bug me for it, and everybody get a refill on a drink. Go out for your smoke, go to the bathroom, whatever, and I will see you here in like 2 or 3 minutes for an open mic, and thank you. Oh, and here people, while he's pointing at stuff.
Please.
People are already talking about books. Well, she's selling the books of. And because I don't know if I've gotten this to everybody, I'm trolling for money for our phenomenal feature. I'm going to do this again in case I missed anybody, because this one so deserves it. And I look forward to seeing you here in just a few minutes for the open mic before singer-songwriter night here at Gallery Cabaret. And thank you. Don't take a break. Thank you.